Going on, Legion. As you're like always, I don't even know if you're seeing this. I haven't watched SNL in a long time since Trump has been elected. I am not on this side of the fence or whatever as far as that kind of stuff goes. I am do your job, and so I don't have to be homeless because of a recession kind of voter. And when Trump was elected, this got more hate. It was more of a hateful show than a funny show. That's just my personal opinion. Like I said, if a president, any president, whether it's Bush or Clinton or Obama or Trump, if they're gonna reverse the first two, if they're gonna do something, stupid, yeah, it's great to see someone get clowned, especially on SNL. But when it became so hateful, I gave it a month or two, and I just couldn't. I couldn't, and it's been. What, 2 years almost ish more since I've seen SNL, and that's really sad. It really is. I've watched through 3 different casts pretty much. I mean, I've even watched the old school stuff with David Spade and Chris Farley, all the way through the Adam Sandler and Jesus. Well, he was actually that was with Chris Farley. And then sometime later we had the Andy Samberg, Seth Meyers, Tina Fey, Bill Hader, Amy Poehler, and that era. And then that era kind of got phased out with some of them staying and some of them leaving later. To where you had a few of the good ones still, but then the new one. And I wasn't already a fan of the cast at the time. After like Seth Meyers was leaving, pretty much like all those, like Cecily Strong and the one that does the Bieber impressions. Those two were great, but other than that, it wasn't really kind of like my show anymore, which was kind of sad. And part of me actually wants to go back and see how many cameos they've had from past alums, because those were my favorite parts. The past people coming back. And maybe we'll go on Hulu and check that out. I don't know, but we're kind of here for Bill Burr instead. That's just my personal thoughts, and I'm going to go back and watch the full episode with Bill Burr. Unless you guys tell me in the comments down below that the rest of the show wasn't that good, let me know in the comments. But yeah, so with that, I'm just going to get into it, check it out, see what it's all about. Let's hope it's good. I'm going to pause a little bit because of the blocking worldwide stuff, copyright claims, stuff like that. I'll have some systematic pauses throughout the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill
Hello.
Burr.
Oh, and then the announcer passed away. It's not the same anymore, man. It's just not. The mask. Ooh, it's a live audience. I've been watching. I didn't know that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I am so excited to be here. I have been doing stand-up forever, and this has always been a lifelong dream of mine to come here and host Saturday Night Live, so thank you so much for coming out.
First time. I was actually curious.
Coming out during these difficult times. You guys all look like surgeons with your masks on. Makes me feel comfortable that you're wearing masks. I like people who wear masks. That's good. You're listening to the eggheads, the people we all cheated off of in high school, right? Keep listening to them. And then if you don't wear a mask, that doesn't bug me either, right? Take out your grandparents, Take out your weak cousin with the asthma. I don't care.
Dude, the masks don't do anything. They may filter spit, but your air is still going through. Now, maybe there's some, that do. Mine's a Cyberpunk 2077 mask from Amazon. It don't do nothing for nobody. And my family's immune system, ain't no one going here.
It's your decision. There's too many people. It's a dream come true.
Where's the China joke when we need it?
If you're that dumb and you want to kill your own family members, by all means do it. Stops you from reproducing. It's literally a dream come true. And speaking of dreams come true, did you see Rick Moranis got sucker punched on the Upper West Side? New York is back, baby! New York is back!
I didn't see that.
We lost our edge there for a minute. City started looking like a giant Bed Bath & Beyond. And then,
yeah.
Oh, Ricky took one in the chops. It had to happen. That's what happened. happens when you stick an M&M store in Times Square. All right? The universe has to balance itself. Get the peep shows back in Times Square, old people can walk safely 40 blocks away. I don't know. I'll probably get canceled for doing that joke, you know? How stupid is that cancel thing? They're literally running out of people to cancel. They're going after dead people now. They're trying to cancel John Wayne.
Well, come on now. We all know why that's a thing. But, yeah, man, everyone that I see, especially if they don't have the like, everybody there has, like, a decent mask. But nobody that I see, I work at a place that has customers, a lot. Everybody wears the normal mask. That stuff's not filtering anything out. I mean, maybe it does a little better that your full-on exhale isn't going out and about. And maybe it doesn't reach the person. But how many people are really 6 feet away? There's also a crowd. Things linger in the sky, you know, or in the air around you. So if someone walks in front of you, exhales, keeps going, you walk through it as if it's a veil of death. It's not going to do a whole lot. Now, maybe it does to some degree, but not to that degree.
It's like, yeah, dude, God did that 40 years ago.
Damn.
They're all up in arms. They're like, did you hear what he said in that interview in Playboy in 1970? Can you believe that? It's like, yeah. He was born in 1907. That's what these people sounded like. You never talked to your grandparents and brought up the wrong subject, and all of a sudden it went off the rails. Like, oh, grandma. Just keep making the cookies. Yeah, you don't bring up race or religion with your grandparents. You keep it simple. Anyway, I don't know. I know.
Segue.
My grandparents are older. I don't know. Plowing ahead. Plowing ahead. Let's talk white women here, shall we? Let's talk white women. You're amazing. Amazing your accomplishments over the last few years. I got to tell you, the way white women somehow hijack the woke movement, generals around the world should be analyzing this. Just to refresh your memory, the woke movement was supposed to be about people of color not getting opportunities, the at-bats that they deserved, finally making that happen. And it was about that for about 8 seconds. And then somehow, white women swung their Gucci-booted feet over the fence of oppression and stuck themselves at the front of the line. I don't know how they did it. I've never heard so much complaining in my life from white women. My life is so hard with my SUV and my heated seats. You have no idea what it's like to be me. Trash and white guys, the nerve. Where's the camera? The nerve of you white women. Listen, I don't want to speak ill of my bitches here. Okay? I don't. Well, let's go back in history here, okay? You guys stood by us toxic white males through centuries of our crimes against humanity. You rolled around in the blood money, and occasionally, when you wanted to sneak off and hook up with a black dude, if you got caught, you said it wasn't consensual. Yeah, that's what you did.
Oh, damn.
That's what you did.
Woo.
So why don't you shut up, sit down next to me, and take your talking to.
Take your talking to. This is not the audience for the most part.
So, I haven't been in New York for about a year. You know, I was here last year. I was shooting a movie. Had a great time with Judd Apatow, Pete Davidson, and all the guys. Yeah, had a great time. And I hadn't been here in like 13 years, and I immediately noticed how extra crowded the city was. I was getting all claustrophobic. I'm like, what's going on? How much are people not using safe sex and making all these babies, you know? So I finally walked up to this old New York door guy, and I was just like, dude, what's going on? What's with all these people here? And he was just like, oh, no, don't worry. He goes, it's June. He goes, it's Pride Month. And I'm like, what's that? You know, I'm 52. I never heard of it, right? They didn't have that when I was a kid. He goes, oh, it's Gay Pride Month. And I was just like, oh. Dude, you know when you're just like stuck in the Matrix and you just can't, everything's just pressed up, you can't see anything? And then somebody gives you that little nugget of information that just pulls it back. Like, why is it so crowded? It's Gay Pride Month. Ah, tank tops. 0% body fat. 2 guys kissing. Rainbow flags. Ah! I didn't know that. the month of June is Gay Pride Month. That's a little long, don't you think? For a group of people that were never enslaved. How did they get all of June? Dude, black people were actually enslaved. They get February. They get 28 days of overcast weather. Sun goes down at 4 in the afternoon. Everybody's shivering. Nobody wants to go on the parade.
That's my birthday, February.
Look, yeah.
Well, yo, man, that started out pretty. I should have paused it at least 3 minutes ago, and I didn't. That's gonna be an issue. Oh, that's gonna be a bad issue. No one's gonna see this video now. Man, that started out super rough. Damn. And I did this the last time. Every time Bill Burr, I just get so caught up in the video. I should have paused it like at 4 minutes and something.
How about you hook them up with July? These are equator people. Give them the sun for 31 days. There's gay black people. They could celebrate from June 1st, June 31st, 61 days of celebrating. All right, that's all my time. We got a great show for you guys, everybody. Jack White is here. It's going to be amazing. Please stick around.
Jack White. Well, now I'm really sad I missed the show. All right, well, that was probably not the best. Bill Burr's great. I like him. Some of his jokes were really good for me. Some of it definitely didn't fall flat for me, but I love hearing the crowd. That's half the show for me. Hearing other people enjoy something is just something I really like, as in why I do reactions. I love watching reactions. I like people seeing that what I like also like it, or maybe have a different opinion. So hearing the crowd during stand-up is, for me, a big part of it. And so when they're like, it kind of ruined it for me a little bit, because they're just like, bunch of oversensitive people, it seemed like, in the, the Gucci, whatever, suede, whatever he said, boot. That was pretty good. I like that. I'm still thinking about the fact that I didn't pause it like right here when I should have, because I think it was just too much of a block that could be clean. I don't know. That's just beyond YouTube. It's behind the scene things. You don't need to know that, but it's just I vent a lot. Anyways, it was not probably in my top 5 favorite stand-ups I've ever seen on SNL. It wasn't, I don't think, the best in general. And I guess that's kind of like par for the course. Like, I like when he's like, we're going to just barrel on through, I think is what he said. Because that's kind of how a stand-up is, but he always has a lot more time. So if something's not going right and he just decides to just switch it up, he has like a whole nother like hour or something to kill. This was 7-ish minutes, So yeah, it is what it is, man. Like, it's a little different. I don't want to say Bill Burr doesn't have the right flow of comedy for SNL, but SNL definitely I think it needs a specific slot. It's a specific chunk of time you need to do. Not really like this weird wind-up thing. It's kind of like a lot of quick stuff, or one really long one that's interesting, but then pays off at the very end with a good joke or the punchline, which is what I've seen over the years. Sometimes when you do a lot of like real quick, like Chappelle, what did he have in his opening? He had like, I think one time he maybe had 3 jokes, maybe 5 jokes or something like that. I think one of them might have went a little long, but they were just set up at almost rapid pace, almost. And it was a lot more. It was kind of hot button, but not really, because he's like, talk about like, he's black, so he sometimes brings up black people doing like Jussie Smollett or something, right? Like, he brings stuff like that up, and that's just a joke in and of itself, and it's just different formats. And I think that no comedian, I mean, maybe some do have a specific chunk for SNL, but I think there's just a format and a formula to do SNL monologues, comedian or not. And you can see him over the years that are good or bad. I didn't think he bombed at all. I think that his comedy is just so beyond the horizon, as far as thinking about what to say and what not to say. A lot of people are like, can he say that on TV? When he's talking about like, gay people were never enslaved. Well, I mean, they're still pretty much kind of oppressed for a lot of people. A lot of people believe that. Whether it's true or not, that's not the debate here. There's a lot of you know, gay rights that haven't been a thing for a very long time. And whether he believes it or not, that's also not the debate. It's that he said that. He said it as if they haven't had it bad. And that was like a, whoo. And I love that he said it because that was great. But still, it was still kind of a brutal comment. And so that's how his comedy is. And if he had maybe a little bit more time, I think he would have been fine. But because, you know, it is SNL, anything that he said, if you've ever seen any reactor react to Bill Burr, the ones where they've done where he's at the what is it, the Laugh Factory or whatever, where he has like hair, and he's talking about, if he would have told the story about dating the black girl, you know, and he's like, I saw 5 or 6 black dudes right on the corner where I needed to go, and I'm like, fuck, like, you know, and he yells that part made me laugh so hard. That was great. And if you would have told that story, it would have been the whole 7 minutes mostly, and he would have killed it. It would have been funny. And I'm not saying he should have done that specific story, but for example, doing a story like that would have been great. He kept it, I'm glad that he kept it kind of like, you know, current, but current can also be a problem because he's like, y'all look like doctors, I feel safe. People don't really respond to that because I don't feel safe. I feel uncomfortable if I go to a doctor or a hospital, something like that. I don't like it. So I think that's how some people felt in the audience and whatever. And it wasn't a joke that really landed. You know what I mean? It was just kind of maybe a little current, maybe a little bit of his own personal thinking. And his own personal thinking sometimes can be super funny, or it's so brutal and true. You're like, yeah, of course. You know, like motherhood isn't the hardest job in the world. Duh. Right? Or sometimes it's so out there that he has to then like create a whole new journey around his joke. You can't see what I'm doing. Around his joke to explain the joke and why he wasn't just saying something offensive. And then some people get it. I've never taken anything he said wrong, and I've always gotten his stuff, and I've always thought it's funny. But sometimes he says things, and it's like he's starting at the back of the joke, and that's the joke, and some people don't get that. And then you'll see later on that he kind of, like Eminem, he kind of explains the lyric. You know what I mean? And so it's really hard for some people to grasp. It seemed like a lot of these people came for SNL specifically, not necessarily Bill Burr. Or maybe a bunch of people brought their wives. I don't know what happened, but either way, it was all right. It was pretty good. Not the best, especially by what we've seen on SNL. This is a very long video for some reason, but I'm going to get out of here. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see whatever video I'm doing next. Later, guys.